This is the waterway that the Rohingya have used in order to escape Myanmar and get to Bangladesh. We're out here with the Bangladeshi Border Patrol. Lieutenant Colonel Arif is going to give us an idea of what the last few months have been like for them. Bangladesh's border guard was on the front lines as Rohingya refugees began fleeing Myanmar following the latest round of fighting in Rakhine State. After decades of persecution, a group of Rohingya insurgents formed the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, or ARSA. They say they're fighting for citizenship and basic rights. On August 25th, they launched a coordinated attack on multiple security outposts, killing 12 officers. Within hours, the military responded with a brutal crackdown. In so-called clearance operations, the military is accused of killing thousands of Rohingya, committing widespread rape, and burning down entire villages.
We have seen the villages burning very, very clearly. All these places were totally covered with smoke.
At the height of this crisis, how many people were crossing per day?
In one wave, there will be 10 to 15,000.
In a day?
In a day. They had to cross this river, but there were too many persons in one boat. So there were capsizing of the boats. We have to recover lots of dead bodies.
As hundreds of thousands of Rohingya flee, Bangladesh has left their borders completely open. Many of those Rohingya are living in Kutupalong Extension Site, now the world's largest refugee camp. This was one of the most densely populated places in the world, and just in the last few months, more than 650,000 Rohingya refugees have landed here. The Rohingya have lived in Myanmar for centuries, but they're not officially recognized as one of the country's 135 ethnic groups. The government denies them citizenship and claims they're illegal immigrants that have crossed over from Bangladesh, making them essentially a stateless people.
Assalamu alaikum. Ara Rohingya Zati. Ara Hokkan. Ara Dunyatun Sai.
Nearly everybody we spoke to had photos and videos on their phones documenting the atrocities that they say were committed against them by the military. Oh my God. Who filmed this?
তারপরে ইনতি নমরদুন দর্জন দর্জন গর গলাই দর্জন দর্জন গর গলাই রেক গুরিয়ে রে গরফুরা দিবিলি মানুষ দালা করি আর উড়া দে ফেলে দেবা আজও কল আর মা বলে না আর বাবা আর খানের কুলালে উড়া দে আর আই সঙ্গে দেখি দি দাদা গুরা গুরা বলে আর Gura gura malo le ara, haram na de mala jete maar kulo tule le ara so ge dikhi doi no de. Dela hadara hedar khana man no de bada ye. Bada tuna ara re. Hede mari holo.
Since the violence broke out, the government has imposed a near-media blackout in Rakhine State. But a network of Rohingya bloggers are determined to find ways to get information out of Rakhine, though they face detention and arrest if they're caught inside Myanmar. We're walking to meet a citizen journalist or blogger. He's one of the people who's been sneaking out videos and photos of what's happening, which is incredibly important for human rights organizations, but also for journalists like us who can't get access there. How is information, how are these videos and photos getting out?
We are a team inside the country. We are doing this work, collecting the brutalities against Rohingya. We share most of our videos, photos on WhatsApp.
So you have a WhatsApp group of different bloggers and journalists, and that's how you're getting the information?
Yeah. We have communication on the daily basis with domestic and international news channels. The government now that we are doing this, they will kill us. So many people who are doing this work have been forcefully displaced.
What do you think happened to them?
They may be killed. Forcefully disappear means killed in Myanmar.
What kinds of crimes are the Burmese military committing against the Rohingya people?
We have evidence, we have proof that Myanmar government is committing genocide against Rohingya. The Myanmar government and ultra-nationalist Buddhist hate Rohingya people. due to nationalism, fueled racism, and Islamophobia.
While some Buddhist monks, like the infamous ASHIN WIRATHU, are notorious for perpetuating hate speech against the Rohingya, it's the military that encourages those sentiments, in some cases denying Rohingya even exist. Even Aung San Suu Kyi, a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, has repeatedly defended the security forces from international criticism.
I don't think there's ethnic cleansing going on. It's a matter of people on different sides of a divide.
Pressure continues to mount against Suu Kyi, especially when stories of survivors are released, like that of 26-year-old Jamalita, who fled Myanmar in an earlier wave of violence in 2016.
অক্টোবর 11 তারিখের দিন আর ফারাম মাঝে হতো মিলিটারি আসিল দিনের 2টা বাজে আজ জামা বাজার তো আয়রে হন দুয়ানার মাঝে বসে দি জামার গাম মাঝে জামারে গুলি মারি মারি ফেলাই দুয়ানত তো নেলায়রে দুয়ানার পুরা দি ফেলাই 16 তারিখের দিন বিয়ানা আম্মত 5টা বাজে মিলিটারি বাদে নেলায়রে দিলাক দা ডর উড়ানোর মাঝে আরারে জিয়া 200 200 বেরিয়ান বুয়া করাল দেখেন তুন 30 জন মহিলা বাসে আরে লয়রে দিলা স্কুল বিড়া মাদে মিলিটারি হিন 3 জন স্কুল টাঙ্গুর মিলিটারি দৌড়ি আরে ফেলাইরে বাদে 2 জন মিলিটারি মানে আরে জেন্দিল্লা নির্যাতন করে ভেজে হিন্দিল্লা নির্যাতন করছে বাদ আই গুলো তারা সগো যত সাই আরে সক্কা সাইর উপর ডাঙ্গুর গুসামাইছে আর বাদ আই বেসাব করে আমাতেরে
Jamalita tried to come forward with her story in Myanmar. She gave an interview to both the media and the government, who claimed there were discrepancies in her account. On the Facebook page for Suu Kyi's office, a post claimed her story was an example of fake rape. Within days of her interview with the journalists, locals warned Jamalita that the military was searching for her.
ayete mancha are hote toruyen dilla pali mari fela pa hoyra hato are dilla made dor golli ar hoynna bappa ara fela mane ari ara fela pa hoyra hato are dor golli.
As hundreds of thousands of Rohingya flee persecution in Myanmar, they're now met with resistance in Bangladesh. Local authorities are cutting off all Rohingya access to the rest of the country, essentially trapping them in the camps.
All these Bangladeshi police officers down here are pulling over these tuk-tuks. They're trying to make sure that Rohingya don't leave the camps and go into Cox's Bazar. Who are these people? Rohingya. And so where are you sending them?
ক্যাম্পের ভিতরে থাকতে হবে
How have the Rohingya people affected your economy, affected your day-to-day?
মানে আমাদের মানে নিত্য প্রয়োজনীয় দাম দ্বিগুণ হারে মানে কি চুরি ডাকাতি রাহাজানি বেড়ে যাচ্ছে যার ফলে মানে জনগণের ভোগান্তি বেশি
The Rohingya now outnumber the locals here, and Bangladeshi community leaders are increasingly frustrated by the impact this has had on their economy.
50,000 লোক যদি 8 লক্ষ লোকের ভাগ 8 লক্ষ লোক যদি আমরা 50,000 জনগণের উপরে পড়ে আপনাদেরকে ব্যাখ্যা করা প্রয়োজন আছে বলে আমি মনে করি না
একটা রোহিঙ্গা কাজ করতেছে 200 টাকা বা 250 টাকা তখন আমার কাজ করার ইয়ে হচ্ছে যে 500 টাকা কিন্তু আমি কাজ করার মতো শ্রমজীবী কোনো কাজে আমি পাচ্ছি না
তাদের খরচ নাই তারা যদি 100 টাকা পায় তাও তারা তাদের সাফিসিয়েন্ট রোহিঙ্গাদেরকে তো অবশ্যই ফেরত দিতে হবে
While these anti-Rohingya sentiments intensify, the Bangladeshi government is registering the Rohingya, which could lead to what they all fear, being sent back to the country where they've been hunted by the military and still have no citizenship or basic rights.
This center right here is being run by the Bangladeshi military. All the signs in front are asking all Rohingya to come in, give their personal information and all their biometrics in order to receive aid. The concern, though, is that that information is actually being used to register and repatriate families back to Myanmar. What are you doing here today? Does it concern you that the information you're giving them is going to be used to repatriate your family?
Government officials running the registration center denied our request for an official interview, but confirmed what we suspected.
Will this information be used to repatriate these people?
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Do you feel like it's misleading them, telling them to register so they can receive aid when in fact the information is going to be used to repatriate them?
We are not misleading them.
No?
How are we misleading them?
Because they think that they're here to receive aid and that's why they're registering. They don't think this information is being used to repatriate them.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they are thinking.
It doesn't matter what they're
What
thinking.
they are thinking.
But this is their lives, right? If they're repatriated, their lives could be at risk.
We are doing this to help them.
In February, Bangladesh turned over a list of more than 8,000 Rohingya, the first group meant to be sent back to Myanmar under the repatriation agreement.
As people begin to talk about repatriation, what's the fear?
Myanmar government is a killer. A killer how can do the deal of repatriation? I'm clear, 100% sure that if Rohingya would be repatriated to the country, they would be kept in concentration camp.
Concentration camp.
Yeah, concentration camp.
These fears are not unfounded. Myanmar recently announced the construction of so-called transit camps, where repatriated Rohingya could be held against their will. The continued threat of repatriation has only exacerbated tensions among ARSA, the militant group whose attack reportedly first sparked this wave of violence. This 20-year-old soldier says he joined ARSA after he was tortured by the military, and he was there on the night of August 25th.
Plans for repatriation are in the works. It was supposed to start today. Does ARSA have any plans to attack in protest of this?
nationality tara diye ara jonno ara jati no guza ara jati hediar barmar baje hama ha ali hinga tara le kiuriya mata to gotana gori ki jum ara se thaiba jonno heda ara to samaka joddo ko ara khas plano huribo na.
The future of the Rohingya remains more uncertain than ever. With the start of monsoon season, landslides, flooding, and waterborne diseases threaten to worsen the already dire conditions in the camps. Thousands of lives may be at risk, and pressure is building on the international community to step in and help. But so far, the US and EU have done little more than donate funds to Bangladesh and issue statements condemning Myanmar. And China and Russia have repeatedly blocked the UN Security Council from taking action. Vice co-founder Soroush Alvi sat down with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to understand the role that the global community should play in protecting the Rohingya from a potential genocide.
How bad is the Rohingya crisis right now in Myanmar, in Bangladesh?
Absolutely terrible. I have never seen a population so discriminated in the world. You had tens and tens of villages burned to the ground, violations of human rights that are absolutely intolerable, rape in horrible numbers, and this is the worst crisis we are facing in today's world. It is essential that the international community is able to tell the authorities in Myanmar, especially the military authorities, that violence needs to stop and that the people that fled have the right to return, and the right to return in safety, in dignity, voluntarily, and that conditions need to be created for them to be well received.
But is anyone listening to you?
Well, there is people listening, but there is not yet a unanimous approach to this crisis, allowing the international community to speak with one voice and to tell the authorities in Myanmar, stop.